Welcome back again today, good friends. If you're new here, my name is Jamerrill. I am a mega mama running a household of at least 10, and that means I've got a lot of people to feed all day, every day, and that has been my life for decades and decades. In this big batch, super mega massive freezer meals video, I am cooking my way through several of my big batch freezer meal guides. Plus, I show you how to freezer meal prep and organize for those big mega freezer meal prep days to fill your freezer. And of course, we get into big batch freezer meals beast mama mode as we tackle making from scratch so many big batch freezer meal breakfast, lunches, and dinners. I'm cooking up mega massive while I'm using my big batch freezer meals guide 3 for a ton of homemade breakfast meals for my family. I'm using big batch freezer meal guide 18 for a variety of freezer fill-in and tummy fill-in lunches. Of course, those lunch meals can be used for dinner. I mean, you can even do breakfast for dinner if you want. And I'm also using Mega Mama's Cooking Club Extravaganza Guide 1, where I'm making up to 30 easy and delicious freezer meals for the slow cooker for up to 3 families. Those meals are spreading over 20 people. It's amazing and fantastic. You can find these 3 easy peasy, lemon squeezy, we like the easy peasy around here, freezer cooking guides in the first link in the description below. And as always, just use special coupon code HELLO20 to take 20% off your order at shop.largefamilytable.com. Let's get mega cooking some of the biggest freezer meals on the internet. Buckle up, let's go. Well, hello friends. Guess what we're doing? I know you're excited. And we are getting a Mega Mama cup of iced coffee going. We're doing big batch freezer cooking. Oh yes, we are. I have been cooking big batch bacon in the oven for years and years, and in the last several years what we do is we just flip it in half, fold it over on itself before we have twisted it. We've done various things with our bacon, but now we're pretty much just flipping it over in half. We can get more on our sheet pans when we do that, and we put it in the oven and it cooks up beautifully. And we're going to get the sausage going, and then we'll get the sheet pan eggs going. I feel like in between messing with the sausage, we need the first batch of eggs going. Meat chopper, all is well in the world. Yay, Walmart. So I decided to do sheet pan eggs. Now, I have done a lot of sheet pan eggs where I just crack them and, you know, it's like frying an egg. And that's what we're doing today. And then you can just slice them down with your spatula and put them on the sandwiches. Another way to do it is to just scramble the eggs and then pour the scrambled eggs on the sheet pans and bake them, batch bake them from there. And that's another way to do that. If you don't want it to be a fried egg and you want it to be more scrambled, that is certainly an option. And I'm also going back and forth here, stirring my sausage and letting that continue to cook as well. The first time I did sheet pan eggs was probably 7 or 8 years ago. And my friends, this is the way we mangle our eggs, haha. You know, in times past when I have done breakfast sandwiches, I've done scrambled eggs on the stove and fried eggs on the stove. And you also know over all these years that we've been together, I'm also a fan of sheet pan eggs. So I'm going to slather them in some salt and pepper and get them in the oven. There's 60 eggs here total. And so I'm gonna put them in the oven at about 425. Now, my recipe up over on largeforthetable.com was for a smaller amount of eggs, and I said about 9 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna set my timer for 10 minutes. We will eyeball them. They might need 12 to 13 minutes. The bacon is in there doing its thing also, and the sausage is done. Okay, so now we will pull the bacon out. I'm gonna move my pot over, and then we will put the sheet pan eggs in the larger oven, and it's all gonna work out fine. But we really are doing a great job. It's like pat ourselves on the back of juggling those sheet pan egg pans. And so I have not collected bacon grease in recent months, and I had about 2 jars left, and I hate to see good bacon grease go to waste. Build a little, sorry, bacon grease, but I love to fry eggs and Brussels sprouts and all kinds of things. I like to use the bacon grease, so I'm glad that we are collecting it on this day, and that jar will just go in the refrigerator, and I will use it when I cook different things. Like I said, don't use it for everything, but there's definitely things I like to use bacon grease for. And I have kiddos that like to cook with it as well. So I'm teaching them all the important life skills, like frying eggs low and slow with bacon grease. Good mama. So I condensed our 3 sheet pans of the sheet pan eggs into one little sheet pan mountain. And now we're gonna switch over and get our sausage gravy done. That'll be fantastic to have several bags of in the freezer. And then after that, we'll be rolling on to assemble our bagels. And real quick, because we love making lists around here, I'm just gonna put on the whiteboard what I'm trying to get done, because I was also just taking a minute to read my friend Lisa from Farmhouse on Boone, getting reacquainted with her homemade sourdough English muffin recipe. And I thought, yes, we could do that. We could prep that dough and get it fermenting overnight on the island, and tomorrow afternoon we could also add those homemade sourdough English muffins to our big batch freezer cooking. So I'm looking at my little list here. We are doing the breakfast bagels. Those are in the works. Those are going down. Yes, they are. We are gonna do the freezer fruit bread. Yes, we are. And we are gonna use the homemade applesauce that we made and canned. Yes. We are going to do the sausage gravy. There's a few recipes in the Big Batch Freezer Meal Breakfast Pack that we're cooking, Guide 3, that I am not doing in this big cooking time. But that's the beauty of the guides. You can pick what you want. You can make all the recipes, or you can, you know, do 7 of them and come out with 21 meals, or you can do all 10 and come out with 40. There's directions and lots of good hand holding within each guide. And so now over here, I am working on making our homemade sausage gravy. Now, gravy is one of those things that is so delicious. I mean, we love gravy in all the forms, right? And it is time consuming to stand at the stove and make it. So if you have a cooking day where you can make some gravy and get it in your freezer, or if I was, let's say, doing, and I've done this many times, where I'll do my one 17-inch Lodge cast iron pan with sausage gravy for my family, and at the same time I do the second pan, and I will serve one pan for that meal, and we'll have some leftovers for the refrigerator for other portions, and then I freeze the second pan full, just in a gallon Ziploc bag or another freezer safe storage container. And then whenever we want gravy in our life, but we're not putting the time into making gravy, I just take the bag from the freezer, put it in my refrigerator, it defrosts, and then we're able to use the microwave and heat it up from there. I have family members that like to eat sausage gravy, of course, on biscuits, and I am doing some biscuits on this evening too, just not big batch freezer biscuits on this particular cooking time. We are doing so much though, but you know, you can watch all my big freezer cooking videos through the years. I've definitely had times, and I want to. I want to make, I don't know, 10, 12 dozen homemade from scratch biscuits and get them in the freezer. But you'll see in this video all that we're cooking up, and I am proud of us. But what I was saying was, if you don't have biscuits, even having the sausage gravy on toast is absolutely delicious. And right now I'm just continuing to add some more milk to my pan. Of course, we don't want to do classic Jamerrill style and overflow it, but I thought we could get just a little bit more milk in there and continue to stir it down and make this gravy. And now, even though it's flamin', I just had a taste of it and it's delicious. You can of course salt and pepper to your heart's desire, whatever your family's preferences are, but this is some good sausage gravy. Okay, so if you cross off the sausage gravy, we got everything been done for the bagels. Need to get those done. But I actually want to get the freezer fruit bread. Whoop whoop. Want to get that in our bowls, in the oven, get that baking, and then we will assemble the bagels. And then it's the egg cups and the breakfast bake. And then we'll work through the sourdough English muffins. Okay, we're gonna wash a Mega Mama bowl. That's exciting. Got some other bowls. So we just wanna rinse off. So, just washing the big bowl for those breakfast bakes that we'll do here shortly. Gonna rinse out our other bowls to do fruit bread. I need to send someone downstairs to my canning pantry to get jars of applesauce. I realized it just looked like 3 jars of applesauce appeared, but I did have a family member bring up some canned applesauce that we home canned together, yay, and I was going to use that in the freezer fruit bread. And since we have the gravy made, we did some biscuits real quick, and there's some biscuits and gravy for dinner. Yay. So now I am reading through my directions there in my freezer cooking guide to do the freezer fruit bread. This is fun. I've been getting things pulled together and ready for the freezer fruit bread, which you can do mashed bananas or blueberries or whatever you would like. I was using applesauce this evening. I did find some mystery cups in a couple places where they shouldn't be, but I can't find my Cuisinart hand mixer. And I'm also wondering, do you all remember, did I blow that up at some point in the last year? I just have not been able to find it. And then for my Hamilton Beach mixer, I only have 2, and one of them is not the right one. So, I have life trouble. We might be mixing with one little mixing cup. Now Now watch the bird go in and be fine. Well, okay. Maybe all is well. I just know each one is slightly different on my Cuisinart. Maybe it's not an issue, but still, where's that mixer, huh? How about I not put my hand in it? Okay, I think we're gonna be okay. It's just been a while since I've used my hand mixer. Anyway, it's gonna be okay. We will get through it. Getting our applesauce ready. So it's 5 cups of applesauce, or whatever mashed fruit you would like. And I've done this bread many, many times in videos over the years. Okay, there we go. With that. And now the big moment where we are mixing our dry ingredients with our wet ingredients, and the mercy of the Lord shone down upon us, and we have a hand mixer that is working. Got a mixer that's working. We found the paddles that work. All's well that ends well, some saying like that. So here's all of our pans that we are filling with our freezer fruit bread batter. All the B words, and this is so delicious that I have family folks that are eating this hot on this evening, also working on eating it the following day, but we did get a couple loaves into the freezer, so that is also a win. Alrighty, so next we can scratch that off, and now we will finally assemble these breakfast bagels, and then I'll just ask myself, which feels easiest next. We're doing super easy massive freezer cooking this evening. And so now it's the breakfast bagel assembly station, of course, big batch style. So I started to get everything set up on the island there to assemble those sandwiches, and then I needed to go over and move my fruit bread around. So good thing we got a big kitchen to hop around in. And I thought, okay, while I'm over here, the gravy seemed cooled down enough. So I went ahead and got the gravy in the bag as well. So just a little freezer cooking distraction, but hey, we're getting things done. Wanted to go ahead and get that bagged up and in the refrigerator, since everyone did have some for dinner. And now the rest will go in the freezer. More bread fresh out of the oven, and now I am back over to my breakfast bagel making station. You can use any kind of bagel that you would like. I have onion bagels, and that's what I also call for in the guide, but you can use plain bagels. You can make homemade sourdough bagels, and that would be delicious. And so I am putting a slice of ham on each bagel, and I'm also going to put on a slice of cheese, and then I'm going to put a little square of egg, and then put the other bagel slice on top. And I tell you what, I could not even get these in the freezer before I had teens putting them in the microwave and eating them. So I did save a bag out after they ate some the following day, and then we did get several bags in the freezer though, and I will report that they've still been pulling them out of the freezer, And look at this, meal prepping, letting them defrost overnight and heating them up the following morning. I am a proud mama. I do wrap each breakfast sandwich in some saran wrap, and then what I'm doing this time is I'm just reusing the bagel bags that the bagels came in, because I know how this works. You have to remember that 2/3 of my children are teens or adults. So I know I am a mega mama, mom of 9, but I've seen things, and I've had many years of watching how quickly food disappears. That's why I am the way that I am. And so if these breakfast bagels were going to be in the freezer for a longer period of time, 3 months, 6 months, then I would not just put them in saran wrap and put them in the thin bagel bag. They would need to be saran wrap and then maybe even some foil on the outside of that, and then put in freezer Ziploc bags just to help protect from freezer burn. But these bagels are already gone, hot commodity around here. I'm thankful we did get them in the freezer, and I believe within the next 4 to 6 weeks there will be no more breakfast bagels. And as I say that, I feel like, Mama, there's not going to be any bagels in that freezer in 4 weeks, but that's the longest life in the freezer I think these bagels are going to have, as their story goes. So because of that, I feel just fine doing a little light saran wrap to hold them together. They are pretty things, and then to just put them back and reuse those bags, it works just fine. And even though these are supposed to be pre-sliced bagels, you know how that goes. I do need to take the bread knife through each of them to get them opened up all the way, but the assembly line continues, and we're doing a great job. This big batch freezer cooking time really gives me hope for continued freezer cooking times. I share a bit here and there about how I can tell my capacity is coming back more and more in different areas. And you know that cooking is an area that's always been a big part of my life. And I am just continuing to have my capacity come back so I can do more cooking. And I'm getting more things in the freezers, and it feels good. And look at us, we can wrap breakfast sandwiches like nobody's business. Yes, we can. And this delicious freezer fruit bread is disappearing already. Here we go. I'm tapping out at 40 ham, egg, and cheese breakfast bagels for the freezer. Got them wrapped in the plastic wrap, and we're just going to reuse these bagel bags for this go round. Friends, I hope that you are enjoying watching me make so many of these freezer meals for my big family. And don't worry, no matter your family size, you can make freezer meals work for your household as well. I've heard from so many families with empty nesters, or families of 4, or families of 6, or families of 16 who love to use my big batch freezer meal guides and my easy peasy recipes to fill their freezers and feed their family how it works best for them. You can click the first link in the description below to get my 3 big batch freezer meal guides that are featured in today's video. That's Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 3 for a delicious variety of hearty breakfast. Also included is Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 18, which is a ton of fantastic and favorite lunch freezer meals. And then also specially included is my Mega Mama's Cooking Club Extravaganza Guide 1, which that guides you through making 30 easy and delicious freezer meals for the slow cooker. Now you can do the Cooking Club guide with 2 of your friends and divide the recipes between 2 families. You can also make all the recipes and fill your freezer. You can also make smaller freezer meal batches. Don't worry, you don't have to do all 30 at one time, but if you want to take an afternoon with some friends and do it, I've got it all planned out for you. Also, as an example, my Big Batch Freezer Meal Guide 18 also has a special bonus smallish freezer meal batch edition. You can click the first link in the description below to get the 2025 New Year, New You Freezer Meal Guide bundle that has all 3 of these guides for you. And when you use special coupon code HELLO20, you can take off an additional 20%. Now let's get back to freezer cooking. Happy new day. So we are continuing on with our big batch freezer cooking this afternoon. You'll be proud of me. Old me would have continued to cook last night till midnight or 1 a.m. But I tell you, I've learned a thing or two about being kind to myself and being gentle on me, myself, and I. And so last evening when I was done, I was like, okay, I'm going to be done now. And I'll just pick this back up tomorrow afternoon when I have some more time, and we will go at it again. And that's exactly what we have done. Now we have circled back around and we're gonna work on our egg protein cups and our breakfast bakes. And then, will it happen this afternoon? We'll get the sourdough fermenting for several dozen sourdough English muffins as well. And we'll just keep moving right along. There we go. Get the mixer back out. So these egg protein cups, I have not done these in a while, but I have done them many, many times over many, many years. So it'll be good to get these back in the freezer as well. It is just pretty much a scrambled egg in a little muffin made out of ham. So it's the ham, it's the egg. You can put different vegetables in there or different meats if you want, also some shredded cheese. And so we're gonna mix up 3½ dozen eggs. We will get cracking. I love these muffin pans here. They do need to sit on a baking sheet of some sort. Let's see. How to make that work. I had a pack of ham open from last night's adventures. So I'm just going to line each cup with a piece of ham. You could use turkey or roast beef or whatever you would like. These protein cups are so simple and so easy to make. And like I say, you could use ham, you could use turkey, whatever meat you would like, and then you just fill it with your scrambled egg. Now you can also add different vegetables. I've done these where I've added sliced peppers or mushrooms. You could add other little meat pieces within it. You can make them like little omelet cups, but on this day I'm just doing egg and cheese. Now while these are in the oven, we're gonna work on our next 3 breakfast bakes. Okay, so hot tea time. 'Tis the season. Now I have these 3 pans greased up and ready for our breakfast bakes. Now I will say, with the various breakfast bakes that we've made over here over the years, there's definitely times where I just freeze them uncooked. The liquid egg, the cheese, all of it gets assembled, gets covered, goes in the freezer. Then on the day that I need it, I would set it out, usually the evening before or so, and let it defrost in the refrigerator, and the next day I can bake it. It's just fine. You can also go ahead and bake them and then freeze them and then heat them through the day that you need them. My little routine is always to set things out 24 hours or so before from the freezer into the refrigerator. So for these today, we will bake them. Also, yesterday we cooked up our bacon. We ate a minimal amount. We will chop up this bacon. I'm gonna throw that in. Also some sour cream and salt and pepper and some shredded cheese. We're not going to get another cutting board dirty or anything. Just going to chop this for a moment. Almost there. We had to take a brief pull it apart bacon moment. Still probably pull it a little more. My timer just went off to get the protein cups out of the oven, and you know how I like to leave things open too long, so better get over there and check on that, and I'll mash that up some more in a minute. Alrighty, so this is 4 cups of shredded cheese, about 1 cup of sour cream, 3 cups of milk, salt and pepper per your preference, the pre-cooked, chopped down, as you chop your better bacon than I do, right? Chopped up bacon, all mixed together, and then put in these pans and baked. And I did get cut off there, but I was saying 4 dozen eggs. And so here we go. We are cracking all these eggs. If only it was really fast, this fast in real life. And then we are going to mix them up with all kinds of good things in these breakfast bakes. So now we're adding in our milk and our cheese and our sour cream and our salt and pepper, and also the sliced up bacon. And now we just poured in the ingredients for all 3 breakfast bakes. Okay, so we have not made homemade sourdough English muffins since this summer. These are not included in my big batch freezer meals guide 3 that I have been doing all of these recipes from. This is, again, from my friend Lisa on Farmhouse on Boone. As always, I will link the recipe down in the description below. But I want to get English muffins, sourdough English muffins in my freezer. And this will be a great project for us to also do. Now, I was just sitting down doing my Mega Mama massive math, and I was gonna do a ×10 batch this summer. The most I had done was a ×4 batch. I was going to do the ×10, but I don't have that much starter. I purposely fed my starter for a couple days going into that to have enough. I just now measured out my starter. Of course, I gotta save a little bit and refeed that to keep the sourdough machine going. But I have 4 cups of starter available. So that means actually, oh, I thought I could only do a ×4 batch. We can do a ×8 batch. Oh, that's great. Because it's half a cup of starter that's needed for each batch, and each batch will do a dozen English muffins. I'll tell you again, I'll tell you in a minute here how many cups of flour and the other ingredients, but all we have to do today to get our ×8 batch going, it was a ×10 batch I wanted to do. It's okay. We'll be happy with 8 dozen. Okay. And I get to use my Mega Mama bowl for that. I was here washing out my bowl that we use for the eggs. I'll still continue to wash that. Anyway, I was getting this ready to do a ×4 batch because it's going to ferment and grow, and I don't need to do that now. I can do, because talking it out with you, see how helpful you are, talking it out. For a minute, when I poured my sourdough starter into my measuring cup and I only had 4 cups, I thought, oh, I only have enough for 4 dozen. No, cooking math, Jamerrill. 4 cups, I have enough for 8 dozen. Great. Okay, well, we washed a bowl anyway, got a little bit ahead, but we will do the big batch fermenting in the Mega Mama bowl. What I was gonna tell you was I wanted to do 10, but I thought I could only do 4. And as you see, dance around the barn with me, we're doing 8, and that will definitely require our 30-quart bowl. Yeah. All right, so I do think this requires our bigger boat. That's great. Put that one in there. I'm gonna go check our breakfast bakes real quick. Oh yeah, those are great. Okay, turn those off. Pull those out in a minute. This is the starter. Nice and bubbly. I fed that this morning that we have. And I'll need to gather up some flour and water, and that's all we have to do, and let it ferment 12 to 24 hours. It is now 3:54 on a Thursday when I'm filming this, and I will not get back to these for probably a good 24 hours. It'll be tomorrow afternoon. We have a birthday event tomorrow. Mega lot going on. But at some point in the afternoon or the evening, we will do these sourdough English muffins, cook them on the stovetop. And at that time, there's some honey and some baking soda, a few more little ingredients that we'll have to mix in. Okay, so it's 2.5 cups of flour per batch. We're doing it ×8. 20 cups of flour. Sorry, cat running by, that distracted me. It will be 8 cups of water and then 4 cups of starter. So hey, let's put our starter in. So we have a win here. And I will get my scraper because I know that's gold. I don't want to lose any of that. Okay, and well, I'll put my water in here. Good way to clean out my last little bit of starter. So we need 8 cups of water.
And again, these bowls are 30-quart mixing bowls that I've gotten many over the years on Amazon. They are linked over at my Amazon shop as well. And I have mamas from all around the universe here who have bought these bowls and enjoy using them with their big batch cooking.
are just prancing right along through every day, getting a little bit more of this big batch freezer cooking project done. This is what our fermented sourdough looks like. I did this day before yesterday, just a few seconds ago in this video. Hopes and dreams plan was that yesterday afternoon I would be able to go through and make the 8 dozen homemade sourdough English muffins. But you know what? Got to that time and it wasn't happening. So, and I love this about sourdough, as sourdough and I just continue to get to know each other. Since the beginning of last summer, I have loved finding out that when it gets to a certain point, I can just put the sourdough in the refrigerator and it'll wait for me there. And that's the kind of help I need. So I really appreciate that. So yesterday, it's been about 24 hours, I put this in one of the downstairs refrigerators. Thank you, extra refrigerators. And so now we need to add, it's 8 tablespoons of honey, 8 teaspoons baking soda, 8 teaspoons of real salt. That's just in Lisa's original recipe. It's 1 of each in the times taken recipe. And I know that I can break the teaspoons down into tablespoons and all of that, but real quick, that's just the times 8 math, so let's get going. Probably gonna mix a lot of that with my hands, so hello pushing up the shirt sleeves, taking off the bracelet and the watch. And then I have both 17-inch Lodge cast iron pans over on the stove ready to go, and we will make these English muffins.
And so now we're adding in the salt to the homemade English muffin sourdough batter. We are also adding in the baking soda. And then we are going to add in the honey, which I'm not even measuring the honey. I am totally eyeballing it and it all works out okay in the end. So the only problem I had with the honey is, of course, some of my honey, big chunk of it was crystallized. Of course, you can put your container of honey in a bowl of water and let it liquefy out some more. And I thought that's okay, it'll all cook down and be fine. I did find that whenever I was cooking my English muffins in my cast iron, that sometimes I would have like little globs of honey on the outside of the English muffin that would burn. So I know for next time I can't be as willy-nilly with my honey. I need to make sure that my honey is truly a liquid and not a solid at cooking time. And so now we are going on and we are using I'm using a measuring cup just more as a scoop. I'm not actually measuring the amount, I'm eyeballing it. But what I do realize is I'm making some giant English muffins. So you know we made up enough batter to do 8 dozen English muffins. However, if Mega Mama is making English muffins, I will turn 8 dozen muffins into 4 dozen muffins, and I will make the biggest English muffins in the universe, and that's exactly what we do here.
And so now I'm just going to town here with that sourdough bagel. No apologies necessary. So good. Hot butter. Give me all the, or I said bagel, English muffins. You know what we're making here, right? Yes, hot butter on that homemade sourdough English muffin. Yes and amen. That's the good stuff right there. And you can see on some of those English muffins where my crystallized honey is catching on the exterior. So just don't do that. Although we ate them and it was no problems, just something to be aware of. And you see we still have birthday party decorations up because we have a birthday the week before Christmas and a birthday the week after Christmas. So it's just a part every day over here. And I do save out some of these sourdough English muffins, but we do get a decent amount in the freezer, which I'm also happy about. And no one in my house complained about the giant English muffins. There is a whole lot to love there. So there were no complaints for sure, but next time I want to see, I don't know if I can make normal size English muffins, but I'd like to try. Let's see how that works out. At our house we just made giant sandwiches and had giant English muffins. No complaints at all. But can I make them normal size? Can I make 8 dozen be actually 8 dozen English muffins instead of 4 dozen? I don't know that I can. I might be too broke to make regular size English muffins, but maybe I can give it a try next time. This is from some of that crystallized honey that wasn't totally broken down to liquid form. So I've had a few English muffins that has caught on the outside, but it'll be okay. We'll still eat it. It'll still be delicious. And if there's really a problem, we can cut it off. So there you go, live and learn, and that was a little Mega Mama lesson for this big batch cooking time. You can have a bunch of wins, and you're gonna have some things that are not wins, and then that's how you learn, right? So here I'm doing my tea bags and my earthly tinctures with some elderberry, and I think they have another one called Immune Biotic. Some good tinctures from Earthly, and that's what I'm adding to my teas. Those are also my 3 handmade mugs from my friend Kate over on Venison from Dinner. She did not send them to me. I ordered them whenever she had them available for a limited time. I don't think she's having them right now. But in the future, when Kate from Venison for Dinner has her mugs available, be sure to get yourself some mugs because they are very nice.
So we are just piling these English muffins high. It looks like an English muffin charcuterie board, and it's a beautiful sight, and they sure are delicious.
So this is funny, friends. Look at this. A normal size English muffin, and then a Mega Mama size English muffin. Proof that I can make some things normal size. Also proof, not that I need to prove it to you, that I do things mega size. Because you know, we prepped dough for 8 dozen. And I got just a little over 50 English muffins, so just slightly over 4 dozen. And so, every English muffin is the equivalent of 2 English muffins. Well, hello friends. We have a table full of food. What is new here? But also exciting, I am cooking my brand new Mega Mama's Cooking Club Extravaganza freezer cooking guide, where we are going to make 30 amazing freezer meals, and I am sharing those freezer meals with friends, and I am making those freezer meals with friends. I have a detailed plan in the Cooking Club Extravaganza guide where you can have each friend take a couple recipes, prep different ingredients, bring them to your house. You can also just have everything and go at it for an afternoon with friends. That is the route that we are taking, but let me show you everything I got. This is for 30 easy slow cooker dinners. And of course, many of these recipes are on the big batch side of life. Yes, they are. Not only will many of these, depending on your family size, be for dinner, but for many families there will be leftovers or extra portions to freeze, however you want to swing it. Okay, so here we are running down the table of all the different ingredients. Many of these things, whenever you do this big batch freezer meal guide or any of my freezer cooking guides, you can definitely shop your pantry first. So way down here we have chicken breast. We have a variety of sirloin steak and cube steaks. We have sausage. I've got Colby Jack cheese. We have some sharp cheddar, ketchup. Now, this, you know, I always need a little extra ketchup for my family. So, quinoa, some Parmesan cheese, some smoked sausage, dried black beans, lentils, brown sugar. There's the ice maker, some pasta, nice little mountain of onions. We have diced tomatoes and some enchilada sauce over there, some breadcrumbs, some pitted olives. Variety of broth. Will we make homemade broth again? You know we need to, but not today. We have some zucchini, dried apricots, boneless, skinless chicken thighs, nice little pile of sweet potatoes, carrots. We got mushrooms, peppers. Did I say zucchini? Got kids having fun. A nice little mountain of celery and some tortillas. Raisins, that'll be an adventure. So this is everything that we got, but now we're gonna jump into cooking and try to get this all done just together. Yay. Okay, so on page 14 in our guide, we got Cooking Club Meal Prep Guide, and these are the items that we are going to get prepping now. We're gonna get bacon going in the oven. We've got some ground beef, but we're using ground bison because yay, sharp shopper. We're gonna cube some chicken breast, sliced sausage, brown other sausage, cube sirloin steak, diced onions, we got carrots, celery, peppers, basically all this prep we are doing, and then we're gonna start assembling meals. So here is my brand new Mega Mama's Cooking Club Extravaganza, the Slow Cooker Edition Guide 1, and I am cooking up 30 easy, wonderful, and delicious slow cooker freezer meals with some of my good friends. It is a beautiful guide that I am super proud of. We are just doing mega and lots here with all of this freezer cooking and all of these freezer meals. Be sure to click the first link in the description below and grab your 2025 New Year, New You Big Batch Freezer Meal Guide bundle. And when you use special coupon code HELLO20 to take 20% off your first order over at shop.largefamilytable.com. Yay. Hi, I have friends that aren't just on the internet. This is my friend Heidi and my friend Joe, and they are cooking meals with us today, and they're gonna feed their families, yay. Okay, we were just saying that you all love quirky things, so you're gonna love us. Anyway, here's our ground bison. I did not do how you should do. I did not take these out to defrost a day or two before. Yesterday, when I did my Walmart grocery pickup order, I was like, oh, I won't get more ground beef because we have this ground bison. Look at us. Oops, there we go, splash. And so now, here we are. We're gonna do the cold water defrost method and get that cooking too. Hi, I'm cooking bacon. Heidi is washing peppers, and Joe was working on chopping this sausage, and now she's getting our bag stands ready. Look at us. Now, in Joe's family, they do 100% gluten-free. I worked with like making sure my broth was gluten-free. Just all the things you would think you wouldn't have to note being gluten-free. But anyway, I know that there's a recipe in here that has breadcrumbs on the day of cooking, but I also know you probably have, like I have those bacon crumbles in place of breadcrumbs that are gluten-free, and I can share, but you have things you do. She has things that she will do to adapt that on the cooking day. She's also very aware of the other ingredients and cross-contamination and all those good things. She's my gluten-free expert for my gluten-free folks. I text her, maybe in tears, and she helps me feel better about everything. So anyway, just saying, all of these recipes you can forever adapt based on what you have on hand, what your store has, and what your dietary needs are. Such as if you were dairy-free, many of these recipes can easily be made dairy-free as well. So don't let that hold you back while you're cooking and planning meals for your family. Most likely, if you're used to handling your family's dietary needs, such as Joe is and such as I'm learning, then you know how to do this anyway. But just in case you're newer at it, please feel the freedom to do what you need to do for your family. Preach. Preach. Yes, yes.
I need to say that I feel like my life is never going to be the same because this knife is so nice.
Which knife?
I don't know.
Oh, that is. Yes, no, that's a wonderful
I'm
knife.
like elevated at this moment.
What?
The top of my head's like,
hold on. Anyway, it's some knife I did a sponsorship for, and it has changed my life, and this video is not sponsored by them, but Heidi is using it, and it is amazing. So, it's good.
It changed my life.
Okay, cooking spray. Kids have been in here, and I don't know where our cooking spray went. Oh, Mother moved it. Mother moved the cooking spray. That's where it went. Okay, let's cook bacon and act like I have cooked bacon before. So I usually throw my bacon in the oven. Now, if you go over and look on the Mills family channel, I saw where Tom Mills did a thing where he does bacon in a stock pot. So that's like a whole other level. Many times I just fold my bacon, or we've also twisted it. But it doesn't matter. You just need your bacon cooked however you'd like. You can also cook it in long strips. But he has a neat trick with a stock pot that I saw flying around the internet here. And you can also give that a whirl. And now I feel like I want to cook my bacon in the stock pot, but I have this already set up. And Joe set up the first pan for me. So this is so nice.
I just decided to get a bowl for the
know, for the scraps.
Yes.
And I know the internet has warned me that Jamerrill the bowls are large. I just have never, like,
Now you've experienced this.
That's huge.
So yes, Heidi has now gotten to experience the Mega Mama bowls in real life, as she was chopping the vegetables and slicing down those peppers. Joe is working on the slow cooker chicken, shrimp, and sausage jambalaya. And I am flapping bacon in the background while I'm talking to my friends. And I'm getting the ovens heated up and the bacon on the pans using some parchment paper and folding the bacon, because for that particular recipe it's for the bacon lentil soup, and we are going to dice up all of that bacon anyway. So Heidi, yes, now she's wiping her eyes a little bit because, as we discover, she's not a contact wearer as I am, so I'm able to chop onions and things and it not affect my eyes. And the onions definitely affected poor Heidi and her eyes, because she also was hopping around and doing a few onions. And I realized I'm not showing onions at this point, but she had gotten a few onions done already, because there's a lot of onions in these. As always, don't be scared to take onions out or add some more in, however your family would prefer their onion ratios. Now, Joe had to leave on this day, and her goal was to help us get 1 or 2 meals done before she left. So she is doing individual meals here. She is working on and we're laughing and we're having a good time making all our jokes, but she is working on slicing down the sausage to go in the 3 freezer cooking bags. All of my bag stands I've gotten on Amazon. They're available at amazon.com/shop/Jamerrill. And also my Mega Mama bowls and pretty much all of my Mega Mama kitchen cooking equipment is linked over there. But I am so thankful that some of my good girlfriends could come over on this day and do this cooking with me. As you'll see, Joe got 2 meals done before she had to leave, and Heidi stayed with me throughout the afternoon and also helped me clean up and all those things. And I'm always so thankful to get to spend some time with friends. And believe me, if you want life problems solved, if you need 3 moms in a kitchen to solve life problems, me and Heidi and Joe, we were doing it. We were tackling the problems. And Heidi has now moved on to the celery chopping portion of our entertainment. And she is going to town chopping down that celery. Again, so helpful to have a handful of friends in the kitchen. We had such a good time on this cooking day. I do have future Mega Mama Cooking Club Extravaganza guides in the works. They will not necessarily be slow cooker ones. We have some different variations coming out. You can also use my huge selection of big batch freezer meal guides as a quote cooking club. I got an email from a lady just this morning, and she told me that her and several of her friends used one of my big batch cooking guides, and they used it to make meals to donate to a local youth center in their area. Okay, so we've got a toddler saying mine, and we have the jambalaya beginnings in the bag, and Heidi is continuing on the pepper cutting extravaganza. And you hopefully heard the jokes about Heidi gets to experience the Mega Mama bowls in real life, which they're big, right? They are so huge. They are so huge, but they are so needed for this. Okay, so I've got, they got chopping going on. I've got our bison pretty loose in the packaging. So we're gonna go ahead, hold on here while I fix my stove. We are gonna go ahead and get the bison cooking in a pot. It's 2 recipes that need about 7.5 pounds each of ground beef, which is going to be ground bison. Yes, okay, so over here, a lot of my spices that, well, all of my spices that are down in the spinner are gluten-free from Azure, pure and holy. Things are questionable when you get up in that cabinet, but you know more than I do. So, and everything should be labeled. There's like chili powder, coffee. Okay, I got a little distracted for a minute. Would you believe that? running around my kitchen, so I still need to get this bison in there. I've got 3 pounds in. This will be number 4. And again, this was $4.99 a pound at Sharp Shopper, which is good. And Joe is working on, she was just pulling spices that we needed from my cabinets. Still a-looking. And that's fine. And Heidi is still chopping away. And so we are assembling everything that we can freeze in these bags. And each recipe has directions for day of cooking. Some of them have a few ingredients you add on cooking day. And that's noted in the recipe guide. Let's see, these are still frozen together. We'll come back to actually run some water on those for a minute. Did we need another one? Okay, downstairs in my pantry room, when you first walk in, there are tomato products. Okay, so. Okay. So she's gonna go fishing for another tomato paste. Okay, so this is the recipe that Joe is working on. It's a slow cooker chicken, shrimp, and sausage jambalaya. On day of cooking, we add the chicken broth, the shrimp, cooked rice, parsley if you'd like it, hot sauce if desired. But let me show you over here what she has lined up. So nice, and Heidi's still chopping away, yay! So she has the chicken and tomato paste and different spices that are going into the bags now. And then do we add, with what Heidi's chopping? Was it peppers?
Peppers and onions.
Now my guide's over there. What else do we put in these bags?
Celery.
Okay, so there we go. And I can just tell you from the future, because I recently had that jambalaya again. It is so delicious. It is so good. I definitely loved that. I just counted it as Trim Healthy Mama crossover meal because it had brown rice in it and such, and with the chicken and the sausage and all those things. But it was absolutely delicious. I am a huge fan. And so we ladies here just continue at our different workstations around the Mega Mama kitchen to prep for different recipes. Again, Joe is focusing on assembling one recipe at a time, and Heidi's going after more of the overall amounts of vegetables that are needed for the recipe. And I am over at the stove now, continuing to unload and then start cooking our 15 pounds of ground bison, which cooks up absolutely delicious, tastes fantastic in all of these meals. It was nice and lean, and yeah, I'm just a big bison fan now, yay. Also, where I was sharing with you about just different testimonies and stories that customers have shared with me over the years with using my big batch cooking guides, I heard from one customer who purchased my big batch freezer meal guides, and she used them to make meals for
a veterans dinner. I've also heard from a viewer who purchased the Big Batch Freezer Meal Guides, and she ran a group home for teen girls who were also mommies. And so she taught those girls how to prepare meals by cooking through the Big Batch cooking guides. They would do a month of meals for them, 30 to 40 meals, using the Big Batch Freezer Meal Guides. They learned cooking skills in the process. They also learned how to prep ahead and prepare food for when they would need it, because real life happens, right? And they would just take one day together. It was a whole big group, and they would get their freezer full, and it would make the coming weeks easier on them because, like, dinner's done. And so I just love hearing those stories. So Joe is going through, still adding other ingredients to the jambalaya there. Heidi, she tried the onion chopper that I had, where you put the onion in and you slam down the top, and yeah, it's just become dull over time, and so she went back to just using my particular knife that she loves. But we did give that a go. I know folks always want to know about my big cooking days, about using a food processor or other kitchen tools, and I tell you, I just like getting in there and chopping and getting it done. My food processor is bulky, and I just would rather cut some things. I feel like it, by the time you wash and clean the equipment and everything, I kind of feel like it works out 6 one way, half dozen another. But maybe I just need a better food processor operator in my life. So Joe is going through now and adding the seasonings to each bag of jambalaya. Now, the boneless, skinless chicken breasts are not going to fit into each gallon bag because this is a big batch slow cooker meal. So the way that we did it on our cooking day is we prepped all the ingredients that we possibly could and that would fit into the bag. And then on the day of cooking, we can add in the bag of chicken breast and any other day of cooking ingredients that are marked with an asterisk in the Cooking Club guide. And also, I'm showing you how we're doing this as a cooking club, and we are splitting these meals between 3 families. I also have my 30 easy slow cooker dinners in one afternoon guides available, and with those, it's 10 recipes times 3, and I have done many times where I have done those 30 easy slow cooker freezer meals for my own family. Now I might share some with friends, share if there's someone in the hospital or a mom who just had a new baby, and then I can pull out a couple bags from my freezer. But I have done those with my family in mind. So even this cooking club guide, if you would like, you can use it similarly and cook it for your family. If you need 30 meals in the freezer for this summer and you can just pepper them throughout over 12 weeks, however you would need them, feel free to do that too. So here Joe is adding the diced tomatoes to each bag for our future jambalaya, and she is just using the manual can opener because we decided we were not going to fight with my electric can openers. It was one of those not today, Satan experiences. Okay, so how real life freezer cooking goes, and talking and stories and giggles. We've got a can of tomato paste in each one of these bags. This recipe didn't actually need that. That's okay. Joe is dumping in the 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. Now, see, I was worried that I'm not going to remember this story to tell you later. And it's just fine with a can of tomato paste in each of these. We have a little extra tomato base. But besides that, we're done with these, and we're just matching these bags up with the boneless, skinless chicken breast for cooking day.
Okay, and I also had got our sausage going. It was 3 pounds. So I'm just gonna get this broken up. I've gotten 2 pans of bacon out. There's 1 more pan in here. Oh yeah, that looks like it's done. So we'll just turn that off and remind me in a minute to actually pull it out. We have our 15 pounds of ground bison going on over there. So now we have reached the smashing up and cooking ground sausage portion of our video. We just needed a couple pounds of that, and I have the ground bison going in my red Dutch oven there, and the dishes are starting to smile at us from the back sink, but by the time I film this video, I am back to 1 working dishwasher, which is glorious after having weeks and weeks with 0 working dishwashers, and we're still waiting on parts for the second one. That reminds me, I need to call my appliance folks, because I'm sure they've tried to call me. Okay, so these are looking nice and pretty. So Joe is currently working on the chicken Parmesan soup, and Heidi does not have contacts in, which is sad. So her eyes are feeling the onions. And here Heidi is chopping up the chicken for the delicious Parmesan soup. So many different ways you can swing that soup as well. I do go through and cook through just about all of these recipes, all of them except for 1, I think, and that's coming up in this video, so stay tuned for that. But I just take a few days with multiple slow cookers, do a buffet for my family, and do a sampling of each recipe for you, and just show you how delicious they turn out, and also different ways I tweak them based on the ingredients I had on hand. The last recipe I wasn't able to cook because I sent 1 too many bags of chicken home with someone, and I wanted to get this video out to you. But everything else I show you, and everything works out beautiful, and I show you some adaptations and just little tweaks. So be looking for that. That's coming up. And so this Mega Mama's Cooking Club Guide 1, the Extravaganza Cooking Club, right? Because anytime you're doing 30 meals with friends, you just have the freedom to say extravaganza all you want and need to. And here Joe is adding the chicken to the bags here. Here's how the chicken Parmesan soup bags are looking. And then we do have some additional items that'll be for on cooking day. And whenever you're cooking with your friends, you can just divide these up by thirds, however you would like to do that, to send some home with everybody. We've got a little bit more chicken coming for these too. So I'm chopping and Heidi's chopping. We're discussing knives. We're discussing freezer bags. We're discussing all kinds of things. And I'm actually running out of bowls at this point. So I'm just deciding to put the celery in a strainer because you know what? On big batch cooking days in the kitchen, you can end up using all kinds of tools here for various things that you need to get done. So from Mega Mama's Cooking Club Extravaganza Guide 1, the Slow Cooker Edition, there are 10 recipes. Each recipe is walked out doing a ×3 version, so you will end up with 30 meals. You can divide that amongst 3 friends. Everyone goes home with 10 dinners done for their freezer. You can also divide it up and just do an afternoon with 5 recipes. So there would be 15 meals to divide. The example is among 3. You could divide it among 4 or 2, however you would like to do it. In the guide, there is grocery shopping lists to do all 10 recipes, which will be 30 meals. And there's also 2 different shopping lists to do each
section of 5 recipes, which is the 15 meals. So again, any way it works for you. The recipes that we are cooking on this big batch freezer cooking day is we're doing slow cooker bacon and lentil soup. We're doing a slow cooker beef enchilada casserole. We're doing slow cooker black bean and sweet potato chili. Also slow cooker chicken Parmesan soup. Slow cooker chicken, shrimp, and sausage jambalaya. Slow cooker loaded cheese grits. Don't knock it till you try it. It's absolutely delicious. I have several folks in my life who rave over it. You don't put the grits in on freezer cooking day. That's a day of cooking ingredient. We also have a slow cooker apricot chicken quinoa, slow cooker sloppy joes with hidden vegetables. How many times can we say slow cooker? Slow cooker sweet potato beef stew with quinoa, and also a slow cooker Swiss steak and tomato gravy. And we show you coming up exactly how to package that last particular recipe. Lots of yummy options and variety in this easy slow cooker freezer meal guide.
And then we just had a little fun with the Mother's Day flowers spilled. I caught it. I got caught in the flowers, but we're good now. All right, we're all good. Good.
It's just a little.
It's just, that's right, the Mother's Day flowers. Continuing. Okay. Gonna get the carrot, maybe that's the cherry carrot, the carrot chopping party going. That's what I'm trying to say. Alrighty, so Joe had to go. Be our little rhyme. Heidi is still here. She's working on the carrots. Joe got 2 of our recipes bagged, and then she has a 3rd she has started on. And so I'm going to take over with that one, but we need to get this bowl washed. We need to rinse some lentils. And we are just continuing to truck along. So that means almost 3. Let's do math. So 2.5, we've got 7 left. And I just put that ground bison on low. I need to chop that up a little more. Okay, we've got another bowl in our life.
So yeah, that was fun to catch on and spill some Mother's Day flowers, definitely. But just like life, it's not what we were trying to do, but it's what happened, and we had to clean up the mess and deal with it. Yes and amen. And now I am just rinsing off the lentils that are going to go in 3 different gallon bags for the upcoming slow cooker bacon and lentil soup, which is also absolutely delicious. I actually had a big cup of that on my way to running my most recent 5K race the other weekend. I cook it up here to show you towards the end of this video, and I had some. I was like, this will make a great protein-packed breakfast for me, and I can eat it while I drive. So that's exactly what I did. And Heidi is moved on to the carrot slicing and dicing portion of our entertainment today. Ha ha, she has all the peppers done, and with this point with the onions, we were just going to do them as needed per meal. I'm able to jump in and do a bunch of the onions coming up as well. And we did have to move. I had a large bag, you can see it there, of old-fashioned oats and also some great value sugar. And whenever the Mother's Day flowers spilled, I just quickly took those to the side. And yeah, that's why things need to be dumped in buckets, right? So I'm doing each bag individually, so I know how many lentils I'm putting in each bag.
And so now I am putting the bacon in each of these bags of the bacon lentil soup. We are eyeballing it at this point, and it all works out in the end. Doing my handfuls full and going and adding a little bit more to each bag. Alrighty, so since I have the contacts in and Heidi is cutting 60 pounds of carrots, haha, it's only 6. I am going to do the onions for these 3 bacon lentil soup meals, and I will put 1 in each bag. So I go to town with the onion chopping to add in with the bacon lentil soup, and the kitchen was heating up at this point, and so hey, let's get some breeze in here. And when that happens, I just open my doors on either end of the kitchen. You can see my one door, my mustard yellow door. That paint color has just made my heart so happy. You can see that that is open in the background there, and we're just getting a nice little breeze through here. We also have all the ingredients laid out on the table behind us. Now, I did already have provided there the different day of cooking items. So whenever we divide out our meals, each of my friends took their needed day of cooking items as well, which could be things like chicken broth or beef broth, whatever they would need to finish out cooking the recipes on cooking day. Okay, just kind of, so obviously per the prep guide, much of this was to prep in advance. But since Joe had to leave, she jumped in trying to get, she had a goal of getting a couple meals done with us before she had to leave. I am going to take her 10 meals to her on Saturday. We're just gonna get them finished up today because I'm running a race and I'll be in town and I'll be able to drop those off for her. So some of these we are now switched to just kind of prepping what we need once we get to the recipe, which again, you can make it work for you. I do not have my favorite knife right now, so you will see all of my knife sets. Heidi is still there. Team Carrot is going. Yes.
It is so going.
It is so going.
I think though, honestly, like, I'm almost done, and then
there's more. The carrots grow.
Right,
like
then I cut them again. So I was like, how can I make this into some sort of assembly line?
So you and I were talking about all the ways that you will use these meals, and we weren't recording, but we were talking about summer because we have summer dreams.
Summer dreams.
Summer dreams. So you're gonna have 10 meals.
And I'm looking forward to them because when we go to, I don't know if we'll do late days. I know we have, I would love to go to the river some.
Oh
so
yeah, that
much.
would be nice. So much river.
But swimming days and the days when it's too hot for me to have to worry about cooking.
That's true.
And I'm
Hello, slow cooker.
So looking forward to them.
Yes.
Because I've been there, and you're tired. It's the end of the day, and the days that I forget, and then I'm like, wait,
we need food.
Yes, because they have to eat every day.
That's right. I did something like that this past weekend, and so I grabbed 4 jars of the pork that we canned.
Ooh.
And some sugar-free barbecue sauce, and I threw it in a little Dutch oven on the stove. And we had pulled pork barbecue and chopped the watermelon because hello, almost summer. And then a kid said, hey, what about one of those big cans of baked beans? And I was like, oh yes. So I was saying all we needed was corn, which we could have done, but didn't think of it till the meal came together.
That sounds beautiful.
We could have had a wonderful summer meal. Summer inspired.
Watermelon yet.
It is getting to be that time.
And I want to learn to can.
Yes.
And I can say this all.
Canning adventures. you know where to come on over and have some canning fun.
I'm just gonna come over and watch you.
Yeah, come on over. Hang out with us on these interwebs.
We can do this.
Okay. All right, so now I have the onions in these bags. And I have been ignoring the bison, but I do believe I'll just turn this heat off now. And I also have the black beans going in a quick cook on the back of the stove here. This is definitely done. Also, gourmet recipe incoming. Hot dog buns we had left over, and that's some cherry preserves, some peanut butter. So we're gonna do some hot dog bun, peanut butter and jellies for some quick kid lunches, and we also have some cut up watermelon. But no shame in this mama game. I do not mind using random bread that we need to use up anyway to do our world famous PB&Js, because kids love them and they are great for quick and easy lunches. And now I'm going through and adding the celery to our bags of the bacon and lentil soup. Okay, and so Joe already put in I'm thinking through, it was diced carrots. I'm just adding a bay leaf to each one. And she already did the garlic. So I need to check this one more time, but I think we're good here on these, besides what will need to be added in on cooking day. And Heidi informed me that I said diced carrots. I was trying to say, we already put in the jars, let's see if I can say it right, of diced tomatoes. There we go. So then on cooking day, there's water and broth that is added. And Heidi is still going to town on the carrots. The carrots continue, but no carrots for this one. Well, we are really going to town here, friends, making all of these breakfast, lunches, and dinner freezer meals. We are just really doing all the things. Be sure to head to shop.largefamilytable.com. Click the very first link in the description below, where you can get my big batch freezer meal bundle, the 2025 New Year bundle that includes these 3 guides, where you are getting Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 3, which is all these wonderful breakfast meals. You're also getting Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 18, where I hold your hand through making many lunches to fill your freezer. In addition to that, you get Mega Mama's Cooking Club Guide 1, where you can get together with some of your friends and do a wonderful afternoon for everyone to fill their freezer. You can also do this with 1 friend, do this with 6 friends, do this with 3 friends, or just do this with your family in an afternoon. Let me tell you, if you have 3 of the same freezer meal in your freezer, you won't be mad about that, because there's going to be 3 different times that freezer meal saves your mama life and you appreciate it. So again, click the first link in the description below, head to shop.largefamilytable.com, use special coupon code HELLO20 to take 20% off that order that includes those 3 freezer meal guides. Yay. All right, so what we're doing is some prepping. More will be done on cooking day, and this will be for the loaded cheese grits. So there's other things in this recipe, such as the 3 pounds of ground sausage. I had cooked this earlier. It's been in the refrigerator. But into each bag, we're gonna put 2 cans of the diced tomatoes with green chili. We're gonna put some shredded cheddar, salt and pepper per personal preference, and a pound each of the sausage. And then on cooking day, we're gonna add the grits and the other liquids, but we can at least prep this for now and it'll be ready to go. And then
And the
if you
mountain
want
of
to,
carrots.
mountain of
Just saying.
carrots. Yes,
Don't
Heidi.
die.
Heidi is continuing. I'm going to open some honor the carrots.
Honor the
She's now
carrots.
doing sweet potatoes. The
We have
celery's
switched.
done. Peppers have been done. That's our fun scrap bowl, and now it is sweet potato time. And here's our bags of our prepped ingredients for the loaded cheese grits meals. And don't knock it till you try it. Grits with sausage and diced tomatoes with green chilies and cheese. It's a whole thing. It is. It's delicious. And now we have a sweet potato mountain. So we have all kinds of beautiful vegetables. And then Heidi is going to take these scraps to her chickens. And she had a great idea. We were talking about putting them in freezer bags.
Yes.
And so then you can just set one out for your girls.
I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Yes,
But
yes, yes.
It's
Perfect.
gonna be pretty whenever it's all fluffy.
They'll like it. And here Heidi is getting the zucchini ready, coming up for another recipe. And that zucchini is going to go in the slow cooker sloppy joes with hidden vegetables. It was absolutely delicious. And you can make your vegetables smaller if you would like, if you truly need to, hide your vegetables within the sloppy joes. Your zucchini pieces and carrot pieces can be much smaller than these. Okay, so here is our veggies that are ready now. Zucchini's done. Heidi's gonna prep some meat and I'm gonna work on the next recipe bag. Okay, so also just crossing off. So we got these starter components in a bag.
And let's see here. Heidi's working on chopping the sirloin for the beef stew. The ground beef is done for the sloppy joes, and the ground beef also goes in the filling for the beef enchilada casserole, but it's not really beef, it's bison. Okay, so I feel like we've got, again, so many veggies and things prepped, so we're going places. And I am washing down my cast iron and getting it ready for other adventures. I will coat it in some oil as well. And I'm going through and cleaning off my racks that I cooked my bacon on because they needed sprayed off before they got added to our dish pile. I'm going to throw the parchment paper away, but those pans will still need washed off. It's just what happens when dealing with bacon grease sometimes. So I'm going to stack those there, and the dish mountain grows. We have some different seasonings on the counter that will need to be put away, and just taking a few minutes to tidy up around the kitchen as we're moving forward. I have also rinsed my black beans, and we're going to get those cooking in a pot on the stove and use those for the enchilada casserole recipe too. And the slow cooker beef enchilada casserole dinner is just absolutely delicious, and you can add whatever toppings that you would like onto it. I am here spinning my different bowls and continuing to wash things out. But with this recipe, it is also 7.5 pounds of ground beef, so that's where the other half of the ground bison we cooked up went. About 2.5 pounds per bagged meal. Also a diced onion per meal. 3 cans of corn, and I use corn that we canned here in the Mega Mama kitchen that we got from the John Henry General Store. I still had a few jars of that left. Also, it's black beans per meal, and then taco seasoning mix. You can add that per personal preference, about 1/4 to 1/2 of a cup per meal. Also, cans of mild red enchilada sauce. It's 1 can per meal. About a 30 count package of corn tortillas. We use those day of cooking. Also, shredded Colby Jack cheese for day of cooking. And on day of cooking, for the individual servings, you can have toppings out such as sour cream, additional shredded cheese. You can have some fresh cilantro. I mean, you could do fresh tomatoes, fresh peppers, anything that you would like to top it with on cooking day. When you serve it out, it's absolutely delightful. And I am proud of me for just precariously juggling that large Dutch oven full of 15 pounds of ground bison into my little homemade meat strainer situation. I know that there's different meat drainers that you can get on Amazon, but with the large amounts that I handle, I just put my large colander into one of my smaller-ish Mega Mama bowls and let any grease drain from there. Of course, this was a nice lean meat, but I still let it drain there for a moment. And I'm also getting my Dutch oven soaking with some dish detergent. We will just scrub that later. I am also using my half a meat masher there. It's just my favorite, okay? It's just my favorite. That's the meat masher we've had since the Forest House, right? Why won't I just throw it away? I don't know, but the handle falls off of it now. It's just what I'm used to. And so anyway, I am mashing down that ground bison a little further, getting ready to use it in the Sloppy Joe recipe and also the Enchilada casserole recipe. And since my friend Jo and her family are gluten-free, the corn tortillas that I bought for these meals, and so the tortillas that we're using is also gluten-free. You know, Jo makes a delicious Mexican lasagna, she calls it, and she layers it. I can just taste it. For every baby I've had for like the past decade, she has brought me that, and I taste it now when I'm sharing it with you. Okay, so also I realized I haven't eaten since breakfast, and we're surrounded by food, and I'm very hungry now. So I have a container of my trim train soup from the Healthy Mama ladies from our starter cookbook from the freezer. I had taken a couple of these yesterday and set them out to defrost. And so I'm going to feed this to myself. I grabbed this. I don't know why. Why would I don't need that right now. I just always think I need Mediterranean rice. And Heidi said, "You sure love that Mediterranean rice you get from Sharp Shopper." And yeah, the universe knows I really love this, but I'm not going to have this right now. So I'm gonna tackle the rest of these onions. You can see we have so much other things prepped, but I am the one with the contact layer of protection, so we can do that. Heidi is over there working on putting some dry ingredients we need for the Swiss steak and tomato gravy package that we're packaging up, so we will show that when it is done. Chopping onions, feeding my body. And many of these recipes, not everything is Trim Healthy Mama, and those of you who aren't following that plan, this doesn't matter, but for my followers who are, many of these recipes can be adapted or already are, and we can go through the ingredients to show. But like the Sloppy Joes, instead of regular brown sugar, I will use the Swerve brown sugar. And the beef stew with sweet potato is good. As far as THM, the black bean and sweet potato chili, that doesn't have a protein in it. So that would be more vegetarian. From my memory, I'm not looking at the guide offhand, but you could add some protein with it. Anyway, there's some tweaking and different things you can do if you're an on-plan lady also. So Heidi and I are in full big batch freezer meal beast mama mode, okay? Is that a thing? It's a thing. We are so prepped. We are so chopping. We are so much still solving the world's problems. And you can see Heidi has 3 bag stands over there, and she is working on assembling one of the meals. And I am working on going through and getting the last of the onions chopped that we need for these remaining meals. Like I say, there's a lot of onions. It's a total of 30 onions for these 30 meals. And so it was a lot of onion chopping going down. So here is my disclaimer about freezer cooking with friends, okay? You will have help. You will have a Heidi of your own there, adding ingredients and seasonings and opening cans, and you will have a Joe available labeling bags and getting meals done, and you will have a Jamerrill in your group chopping the onions and browning the meat. But you also have so many conversations, and that's a big fun part of the cooking club Extravaganza, because you just go through it, you get caught up, you make important life decisions, you talk about the kids, potentially family, the grandkids. You go through all of it, and all of it is important, and all of it needs to be heard. And I saw this meme today that said something like, I don't just tell a story, I tell the Titanic double VHS tape version, okay? And that is me. We know this, and that is definitely what is going down on this cooking day, even though we had lost Jo at this point because she had to run a kid, I think, to a job interview, and we missed her greatly. Heidi and I were having enough conversation to carry all three of us, even though one of us was missing. And Heidi continues to go back and forth there and check on the guide that is pulled up on the laptop. Another thing you can do with the Freezer Cooking Club guide is you can pull it up on an iPad or even the phone. Whenever Jo was here, she had it pulled up on her phone, and so she was looking at different recipes and prepping and doing things as needed from there. And so what I decided to do, Heidi just handed me that small metal bowl, and basically one onion was going to be one of those bowlfuls. There you go, 3/4 of the way, and we are just going to refill that, and that will go in each bag that she is over there prepping. She has chopped so many things. So thankful. Also, I found 2 more jars of our homemade tomato sauce that we home canned. It seems like a million years ago, a lifetime ago. So that was fun when we were going through looking for different ingredients. Okay, there's our 50 gallons of onions. Ha ha, we did it. And then this is how we have prepped the Swiss steak and tomato gravy. We have the dry ingredients, the tomato gravy ingredients, and then we have the Swiss steak. And so it's all prepped and ready to go for cooking day. And Heidi is labeling and packaging those up so nicely so you and your friends don't have to put much thought into it. Just do the day of cooking directions and have a delicious dinner for your family. That recipe is delicious on mashed potatoes, or even, of course, say it with me, steamed brown rice. Lots of ways you can serve it up. And there we go. We are crossing off another meal done. So Heidi is going to work on assembling the slow cooker sweet potato beef stew and quinoa. Now the quinoa is a day of cooking. So you see how in the directions we have day of cooking directions. And then I'm going to work on assembling the slow cooker sloppy joes with hidden vegetables. Okay, so I am working on assembling the Sloppy Joe bags, and here's some of our other ingredients. So this is the Swerve brown sugar substitute. In the recipe, it just says brown sugar. So this is, again, where you adapt based on what your family's needs are. Also, if you were looking to keep this recipe sugar-free, there's this G. Hughes sugar-free ketchup, which is also an option if you weren't using this ketchup. And then I have some ground mustard and chili powder and some minced garlic, and then we also have some veggies that we're going to put in it. All right, and so now into the bags of the Sloppy Joes. I am eyeballing, because you know that's how we roll, about 1 onion per bag. And then to the veggies, we have the diced carrots, and then we have the zucchini, which this was the only recipe with zucchini. So, and you could chop these zucchinis down as small as you would like for them to be, but you know that they'll be really soft. We have our carrots. A little extra for the counter. And then Heidi is working on assembling the sweet potato beef stew and quinoa. Quinoa's not until cooking day, but that's the bags there that she is working on. And here's how our Sloppy Joes with hidden vegetable bags are looking. And I am using a sugar-free ketchup in the Sloppy Joes. You can use whatever ketchup you have available. You know that's how we like to do things around here. To get through our food assembly, my mouth is full. We are eating the gluten-free, grain-free cookies from Aldi. Heidi's laughing.
I really am.
And I just finished the bag of birthday cake cookies. They're made with almond flour. Does that help? Here, let me show them. And Heidi's enjoying the strawberry shortcake cookies. Grain-free, gluten-free.
That might be an empty bag now.
There's a few more. Enjoy. So, now we continue.
10 out of 10.
Those are very good. You all went with me. We went to Aldi. We got a nice variety of their gluten-free snacks, and they have been very much enjoyed. And then Heidi, say our Worcestershire sauce. Worcester.
Everybody online says, from England, they keep saying that it's Worcester.
Worcester. Is that good?
Is that right?
We will know.
I think Americans just trip over it.
So nice. Okay, so then I'm adding a 1/4 of a cup of Swerve to this. And if you want your Sloppy Joes sweeter, just add a little more. You can also add a little more on cooking day. So there is the beautiful sweet potato with beef stew that Heidi just finished assembling. So we've been putting these in the refrigerator so I can get some more pictures for you guys, but we will get these also in the freezers. And now I'm just working through the process of sealing up our Sloppy Joes with hidden vegetable bags, getting the air out, getting them all squished together. They look beautiful, and they were beautiful. Sloppy joes are just one of those things. It's so easy to have in the freezer. Take it out a day or two before, put it in the refrigerator, let them defrost, and then you will just thank yourself on the day that you dump your sloppy joes into the slow cooker, because that evening, kids will be happy, you'll be happy. I eat this delicious sloppy joes with hidden vegetables on top of the Ezekiel bread English muffin. That's just my little adaptation. We are making it through, so we crossed off 2 more, and we have 3 recipes left. Yes, background music, and Heidi is working on it. We'll just don't ignore the dishes behind us, but we are working on these bags, the peppers. Heidi is an expert at eyeballing school. We're good.
Yes.
We've done this. Okay. And so now I am adding our home canned corn to the enchilada casserole. You can add your corn from the Great Value or corn in your pantry, wherever you want to get your corn, wherever corn is sold. But that is what I am using for this enchilada casserole. And what we're making there in those bags becomes our meat and delicious layers that we put down in the slow cooker, and then we layer our tortillas and layer some enchilada sauce and some cheese, and continuing to repeat those layers. It's very delicious. And I am adding in our already cooked black beans to each bag as well. And Heidi is finishing looks like the beef stew and sweet potato recipe across the island there. And we're laughing, we're having fun. Everything looks so beautiful in those bags. You just gotta love slow cooker freezer meals and how good they look in the bags. Okay, that was actually the black bean and sweet potato chili that Heidi finished up there. And towards the end of that recipe, you can use the immersion blender to thicken it up a little bit if you would like. Now I'm pouring in some enchilada sauce into each of those bags, but you also do some enchilada sauce on your day of cooking in between your layers. And I'm handing over to Heidi some more ingredients that she needs for the next set of meals that she is going to work on. And I'm doing professional level squishing together of ingredients for the enchilada casserole in each bag and squeezing out any extra air. And there we go, 3 different enchilada casserole slow cooker freezer meals, along with the day of cooking ingredients and the black bean and sweet potato chili and the dishes growing in 2 sinks. But don't worry, we will tackle that. And again, hey, a working dishwasher. So we're gonna put those items away and go from there, and it's going to all come together. best girlfriends over here at the house, and we prepared these 30 easy slow cooker freezer meals from my brand new Mega Mama's Cooking Club Extravaganza Guide 1. We had so much fun making these. These have been in my refrigerator for a whole day. I had to, you know, working mom life, get some pictures with the food. That's part of the life that I juggle. Anywho, got my food pictures. So now I have a friend coming over this evening and another one coming by tomorrow morning, and they're going to take their 10 meals, 1/3 of this guide that we prepped. They're taking those to put in their freezer for their family for upcoming quick and easy dinners. And one of the very big requests that I get from so many viewers is seeing many of these freezer meals that we prepped in process, how to cook freezer meals, how do we do these throw and go freezer meals. So I'm going to walk you through each of the 10 recipes that we used from my Mega Mama's Cooking Club Extravaganza Fun, and we're gonna get these slow cookers cranking, and I'm gonna show you each and every one. And here's a look at the digital cover of it. It is so pretty. And the very first recipe that we're gonna get in the slow cooker is the bacon and lentil soup. Because of my internet matrix life, so I need to get this video out to you guys, and I don't really have 10 days to cook a dinner every single day like a normal mom, okay? This is Mega Mama universe. So I'm going to do about 4 recipes today, 4 recipes tomorrow, and probably 2 on the 3rd day, so I can get this out to you. And what that means in my real life, because I know you all are connected and you want to know these things, this means that my family folks are going to have a variety of choices for the next 3 days. And also I have several meals that I'm going to share with neighbors and other friends as I cook them. And then in addition to that, if we have anything that I cook and we don't get to, again, in my Mega Mama Big Batch Food Matrix, I can just throw it in the freezer once it's cooked and we can pull it out later. Yes and amen. And of course, you don't have to worry about that in your real life mama world. You just do a recipe a day as your family needs it. Alrighty, so for the bacon lentil soup, and this is defrosted, we're gonna get this going in the slow cooker. We're gonna add in 8 cups of chicken broth, and then right towards the end, we'll add in 1/4 of a cup of red wine vinegar. Just dumping in all of these ingredients. This is a real easy breezy, lemon squeezy, and day of, you don't have to do too much to it. You could fit, probably with this one in particular, you could go ahead and fit a good bit of this chicken broth in the bag. Some of the ingredients, especially since my recipes usually are on the bigger size, some little day of cooking ingredients we just leave out, and then I just grab the boxes of broth or other little things we might need. Okay, that's that. So this is just gonna cook on low and like it. And this is very similar to, let's say, I don't think I call it an enchilada casserole. Don't I have a like a burrito pie recipe over on largefoodtable.com, and some other like 9x13 and 10x15 casserole type freezer meals that are similar. So the enchilada casserole is, we have all of this prepped from our cooking day, and I'm going to squish it and mix it together here, and we're going to do a layer of our enchilada casserole mixture, a layer of our tortillas, little drizzle of enchilada sauce, and our cheese, and then just keep going with our layers, and then let that cook on low. Delightful for the younger folks in the crowd. For all the family folks will gobble this up fast, quick, and in a hurry. So let's get this going. We need to open that jar of enchilada sauce, but we will get there in a moment. I was going to squishy, that's the technical term, squishy your mix together. Okay, squishy.
good. We were in such an assembly line fashion that I had not done that. And this is using the canned corn that we had canned here in the Mega Mama kitchen. So we used up a total of 3 jars of that. I just always love to use things up. And then these are gluten-free tortillas. One of my friends is gluten-free and she knows how to adapt things for her family. And so I think cheese is one of those things that you have to make sure what it's dusted with. Isn't that a thing, gluten-free folks? Some cheese. Okay, no, this cheese says gluten-free too. So we're good with that. And then the enchilada sauce. I just like for things to say it. Well, anyway, this is not for her family, but she did look at my ingredients. So that is good. Okay. And actually, let me get the can opener. Okay. The can opener's cooperating today. Isn't that nice of it? I'm gonna borrow this little measuring cup to drizzle. Okay. Now we're gonna do our other layer. I probably made this bottom layer just a little too thick. That's okay. I mean, it's not gonna hurt nothing. I just like to get as many layers as we can. That's all. And I know I've probably said too much about the whole gluten-free question. The reason I do that is I have a mind to look for certain things, for certain dietary needs. And I know my gluten-free viewers are an expert at that. And there's just some things that are shocking that might have gluten in it. And so that's why I go to my friend Joe often and we discuss this, because I have some family folks that need some gluten-free things too during this season. But I am not a gluten-free expert and this is not a gluten-free channel. However, many of the recipes I do can be swung gluten-free or dairy-free. And moms handling those needs become an expert in these areas. And so since I'm handling some more of those needs these days, it's just making me talk about it a little more. I'll have family folks that will put salsa on this, put sour cream on it, lots of yummy options. There's my timer going off for another life juggle. There we go. Okay, the next one we're gonna get going is this slow cooker chicken Parmesan soup. So for this chicken Parmesan meal, we are going to dump this in along with chicken broth, and there's directions to add a particular type of pasta the last 30 minutes or so. You could also instead add some pre-cooked brown rice if you would like. Okay, so the recipe calls for 6 cups of chicken broth. I'm going to use 8 because I'm going to have the second thing of broth open, and that definitely won't, 2 more cups won't hurt nothing. So here we go, just showing it to you. We are gonna now let this sit and cook and like it. And then last but not least, we're gonna do these sloppy joes with hidden vegetables. And this is just dump it in the slow cooker.
Okay, the cooking continues, but the enchilada casserole is done and delicious, and it just got scooped out from there. They're adding some sour cream on top, and I'm going to actually just turn that off and unplug it now, but it smells so good. Alrighty friends, it has been a little bit. I added that red wine vinegar to the bacon and lentil soup, and I was letting that go a little longer, but sorry, I'm leaning over here to get my spoon. It is smelling very, very delicious. It's just not quite done yet. And then you can see how the enchilada casserole has fared. That thing's going down. That will probably be finished tomorrow. My mom had some of this chicken Parmesan soup already. I was out for a little bit and she messaged me and said, oh my goodness, that chicken soup was so good. And I had added in some rice to it. Now in the recipe that comes in the Cooking Club guide, it has some directions to add some noodles the last 30 minutes. I just, again, adapted it to work in my little Trim Healthy Mama attempt world. This would be a crossover meal if you're following along with that, which means it mixes the fats and the carbs, and that's okay. I'm running a race tomorrow, so that is just fine. I like to get in some crossovers as well. But anyway, so this has come highly recommended by my mama. And this is grown-up sloppy joe eaten. And look, a little burnt on my toast, but I had 2 Ezekiel bread heels left. This is our sloppy joes with hidden veggies. We didn't really hide the veggies in this, but if you need to hide veggies, you can chop them down even smaller. But I am hungry, and so I am just having 2 open face sloppy joe slices of bread, and that is very delicious. And also we used the Swerve brown sugar instead of regular old brown sugar. So I also, for those following along, again, consider this just fine on my little Trim Healthy Mama attempts. Well, happy next day, friends. No Makeup Mama here. I did get to run a big group 5K this morning. Came home, took a nice long Epsom salt bath. In a fresh dress now. This has nothing to do with these freezer meals. Actually, it does. I'm going to show you what I'm eating. And the kids and I are getting ready to go out to a ballet that my good friend Joe, who helped me make and prep all these meals along with Heidi, is going to be in this ballet tonight. That is something that she does. She dances ballet, and I kind of sung that there with her girls, so it's so much fun. So anyway, so we are off to the ballet at a local university coming up soon, but look at what I'm having for dinner. So this is that delicious chicken Parmesan soup that I put the rice in instead of the noodles. You can do it either way. And I did sprinkle some Parmesan cheese, and I started stirring this up and was inhaling it, and then I was like, oh wait, I need to show you all how it turned out. So it's delicious. This is what I'm having, and of course we have a variety of those meals already prepped that other folks have been eating for different meals throughout today. Well, happy new day, friends. So today we are getting 4 more of those easy breezy lemon squeezy. Why I just love to say that right now. Okay, anywho, I'm getting 4 more going in our slow cookers to show you all the end results and to continue the Mama makes a lot of mega food on the internet extravaganza that we got going on here. But the recipes we've done so far, again, some things are gone already. The chicken Parmesan soup, which is a big hit. Again, my mom loves that, and I love that one as well. That one will probably be gone this evening. We're working through it. So we're gonna do 4 more, but you in your real life, you're just gonna do 1 a night, okay? Okay. So the next one that we're getting going is the slow cooker black bean and sweet potato chili. Alrighty, so this recipe takes 7 cups of water, 4 cups of vegetable broth. You can do homemade vegetable broth, of course. I'm throwing in some Great Value vegetable broth. Okay. Then I got 4 cups of water. Let me go get 3 more. Alrighty. This is gonna cook low and slow. We did these black beans on our cooking day. And if you need to, I mean, you can use the same amount of already canned black beans.
There we go. So again, that's the black bean and sweet potato chili. That's going down. Okay, so our next meal is we have a delicious jambalaya. Now on our prep day, we have most of the ingredients plus the sliced sausage already in here. We are going to add the chicken to the bottom of our slow cooker, 2 cups of chicken broth, these ingredients. Then once things are cooking done several hours from now, we will mix in some of that already cooked rice that we prepped the other day. And then there's also an option if you would like to add in some already cooked shrimp at that point. So let's get all this going in the slow cooker. All right, so the next recipe that we prepped on our day is the loaded cheese grits. I'm going to pour them in the slow cooker, and then we're using 8 cups of water and 4 cups of milk, and then our bag prepped ingredients from our prep day, which is the sausage and the cheese and some other items. Pour the milk. Also, I was just hearing the praises sung for the gluten-free items at Aldi, which is so helpful. I need to go back and crash bang, refill some of our favorite gluten-free things from there. And so for our last recipe that I'm doing for today, but don't worry, there's still, I'm going to show you how these all work out, and also we've got 2 more coming up, is the sweet potato beef stew with quinoa. I'm going to put brown rice in this sweet potato with quinoa. It's going to be sweet potato beef stew with brown rice because that's what I have already. No reason for me to make something else for what I got going on. Alrighty, so I'm going to dump our bag in. Ready, set, go. And then it's 6 cups of beef broth, but we have 2 cups of that chicken broth left, so I'm gonna add those in. Add this in. I don't have anything else to put it in right now. Add in beef broth. I was looking at the recipe again, the way that I have it in the pack. It talks about the option of adding the quinoa towards the end of cooking time and letting it cook in the recipe. You can do that too, again, because I have a gallon bag full of brown rice. I'm gonna go ahead and still put that in, but towards the end of this.
And this is what's left of the sloppy joes with hidden vegetables, and I'm getting ready to have this. I'm heating it up. I will probably have a little bit of brown rice with it, and then I'm going to have it on top of 2, one sliced Ezekiel bread muffin that I'm toasting. It'll be a Trim Healthy Mama crossover, which hike and choose ready, fine with me. I'll be needing those crossovers this evening. Alrighty, friends, so we have our 4 different slow cooker dinners done to show you exactly what they look like. So down here we have the black bean and sweet potato chili, and this is delightful. And then here, this is so good if you like some spicy jambalaya style. This is delicious. I did not throw the already cooked shrimp in as of yet, but it has the chicken in here and it has the sausage. I did add the rice at the end, and it's delicious. It is. I'm going to eat this when I am done talking to you here in a minute. There's what it looks like in the slow cooker. And then here we have our loaded cheese and sausage grits, and this is also absolutely delicious and delightful. And then down here, this is our beef stew with sweet potatoes, and again, we added in more of the brown rice instead of the quinoa. And this is equally delightful. So here's how these 4 different dinners turned out. Alrighty, so now we are going to do this Swiss steak in tomato gravy, and remember how Heidi and I packaged it up on our prep day. So we're going to take out the dry ingredients, coat our steaks in it, brown them, and then get everything in the slow cooker. friends, we have been doing so much cooking today. We are making sausage gravy for the freezer. We are doing my longtime favorite freezer fruit bread, egg protein cups, bacon lentil soup, black bean and sweet potato chili, supreme pizza muffins, freezer chicken nuggets. Of course, we got to get some freezer PB&Js in there. Ham and macaroni cups. So much variety, so many meals, so many mega meals that are massive, that are going down. Don't forget to click the first link in the description below and use special promo code HELLO20 to get 20% off your very first order over at shop.largefamilytable.com. Through that first link in the description below, I've got a special bundle that includes these 3 big batch freezer meal guides where you can fill your freezer and make freezer meal breakfast, lunches, and dinners, even enough to share with friends if you would like. So you be sure to head over and check out that bundle, and let's get back to cooking. Okay friends, so this is how the Swiss steak in tomato gravy turned out. It is delicious. It's really good if you can have it over some homemade mashed potatoes or even rice. Lots of great ways to have it. But there we go. So the only recipe I didn't get to show you, friends, was the apricot chicken and quinoa. That's because the bag of chicken I had to show you that recipe, I passed on to a friend with all their other meals, and I just, whoopsie, that's okay. But that is also delightfully delicious and included in this Cooking Club Extravaganza Guide 1. Okay, friends, guess what time it is? It is our next edition, our next segment, continuing along with the Freezer Cooking Chronicles, right? And today in particular, mamas, we are doing all the things to get this, it's like, I feel like air traffic controller. I don't know if those are real signals or not. I don't know what I'm signaling, but I am signaling freezer meals in the freezer, ready to go for summer. For all of these folks. I got a lot of folks. I don't know if you have a lot of folks. Even if you don't have as many folks as I do, having freezer meals ready to go, it's a whole thing. So I'm going to show you my hopes and dreams freezer cooking list. We'll see. I'm so hopeful. I had some phone calls and other things going on this morning, and I've been prepping and getting started. You know, all the mega mama multitasking, but let's read the list and we'll see where this all ends up. But it should be a whole lot of food. What I'm using is my Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 18, which is another lunch edition, and it is just for easy grab and go lunches for kiddos. So, not included in the pack though, freezer PB&Js. I have not done hundreds of freezer PB&Js in quite a while. I don't remember. I don't remember the last time I did this. I don't think we even did this spring. It must be over a year ago. I have a long, deep internet history of doing freezer peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I learned it from my friend Crystal Payne from MoneySavingMom.com probably 15 years ago now. And if you don't think freezer peanut butter and jelly sandwiches would be helpful, they are. I promise they are. If you got a lot of folks and you just need to like grab 12 and grab a bag of apples and the half-eaten Costco bag of tortilla chips and throw it in a bag and take it to the lake. It's a whole thing. Deep and wide at my farmhouse, I would take a dozen or so, take them from the freezer, put them on the counter in the morning. By lunchtime, I wouldn't have to make sandwiches again. So anyway, we're gonna do a bunch of freezer PB&Js. And then from Guide 18, from the Big Batch Freezer Meals lunch situation there, we're gonna do, it's actually supreme pizza muffins. You've seen me do variations of pizza muffins, but these are supreme, yum. And then you can dip them in some marinara sauce. You can do all kinds of yummy things. We're gonna do ham and macaroni muffins. That's fun. Just doing some stromboli,
buffalo chicken taquitos, and I'm going to do a variation where I also do the low carb wraps for my freezer, THM, Trim Healthy Mama freezer stash, pepperoni pizza bagels, ham and cheese roll-ups. We're also going to do some homemade freezer chicken nuggets, so let's see what messes I got going on here behind me. So we're going to get going with all of those freezer meal recipes. Still, dishes aren't here. One thing I did get going a little bit ago, actually it was done over 40 minutes ago. I got 6 pounds of chicken going. That's for the taquitos and a couple other recipes. Also, we have the sausage done, which is going to go in the Supreme Pizza Muffins, and also our noodles are done for our macaroni cup. So just showing you where we are right now. But the first thing I need to do is chop up some onions for these Supreme Pizza Muffins. I don't know this mystery, but y'all know I have a favorite knife. In one of my recent mega freezer meal videos that I did with my friends Joe and Heidi even said that it was life changing. Yeah, it was life changing. Anyway, I don't know where it is. It doesn't make sense. Folks know where to put the knives, so I'm using my less than favorite knives. We were saying maybe it's, we just don't know. But we will find it. It is here. I have a box I usually keep it in. Anywho. Struggles of the day. So it's us and Paula Dean right now. And so I've done pepperoni pizza muffins on here. These are Supreme Pizza Muffins, and they have things like onions and green peppers and sausage and pepperonis in them. I don't have any green peppers. You know, there always has to be some missing ingredient. But I am going to do the onions. And so if you don't think that your folks would like, oh, we do have some onions that need used up here, would like the Supreme variation, you could just do pepperoni. Just have a few situations with this onion here, and so I'm going to doctor it up, and we're going to still use it. And remember, I have contacts in, so that's how I'm able to have my eyeballs over this onion and it not affect anything. It's like built-in goggles. If they were not in, it would be quite different. And it still gets to me sometimes, but I do usually get comments about that. And I don't know about you guys, but I am planning on taking a summer of simple joy activities. We are doing the pools, and we are doing lakes and hikes and some fun things like that. Also, my folks are participating in an equestrian camp. That'll be a lot of fun. And that also usually has swimming at the end of the day. And I have a kiddo bringing me up some butter from the freezer that we need for something.
And so, friends, like I like to do on my big freezer cooking days, I am also solving the world's problems while chopping the onions. Solving my problems, solving the world's problems. We are just going to town and getting things done here. Like I say, for these Supreme Pizza Muffins, you don't have to add in the onions or the green peppers, but the sausage and even the pepperoni still is absolutely delightful. Or if you have family folks that like the Supreme Pizza toppings, I mean, you could even do mushrooms. Totally make it your own. I'm just using up some onions that really needed to find their purpose in life, and we are getting things done. And also in Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 18, an option for smaller families, if you just want to do smaller batches. There's a smallish Big Batch recipe edition. This section divides recipes in half, still giving you lots of freezer meals, but you don't have to, you know, necessarily end up with super mega massive amounts. So with these Supreme Pizza Muffins, there's 2 onions diced, 2 green peppers, or whatever color peppers you would like. There's also 12 cups of baking mix. Now again, I made my Jamerrill's Frugal from Scratch baking mix. You can also use Bisquick or whatever works for you. In a perfect world, there's 3 15-ounce jars of pizza sauce. I had to get a little squirrely, pulling some pizza sauce together here. There's also some cups of water, shredded mozzarella cheese. I did cooked ground sausage, and also packs of mini pepperonis. And I cooked these supreme pizza muffins. I preheated my oven to 350, and then I cooked them for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then let them cool when they were done. You can use warm pizza sauce or marinara sauce to dip them in too. All right, so here we are with Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 18. And the very first thing we're doing is the Supreme Pizza Muffins. And so, you know, we never follow every recipe exactly, but we have 2 onions diced. We did that, 2 green bell peppers, forget you bell peppers. We're gonna use 12 cups of baking mix. Now, I have a Frugal from Scratch baking mix that's over in my Frugal from Scratch baking guide, has all kinds of baking staples. But I'm using that recipe for these Supreme Pizza Muffins. If you don't have that, it's like homemade Bisquick. You can just use Bisquick or whatever you would like. Then we're gonna use 3 jars of pizza sauce, some water within all of that, our mozzarella cheese, our ground sausage, and then also our mini pepperonis. And then you can see over here, you see how beautiful and pretty they are. And then we have our lasagna roll-ups coming up, which are lovely. The very next thing, based on the items that we have, based on the items I have prepped here, are the ham and cheese macaroni muffins. So these are our things that are in the works. Okay, so the nice thing with these Supreme Pizza Muffins is that let's get out our first round of the Mega Mama Bowl. Mystery candy in there. Alrighty, and I've got 2 pounds of ground sausage cooked. We're actually going to use 1 pound in this. Hold on, Mama needs a spoon. The other pound, I'm doing some finagling around. You see what happened is I'm working with most of the meat that I had on hand. And so whenever we get to the lasagna roll-ups, the original recipe in the freezer meal guide talks about 2 pounds of sausage with the casings removed and 2 pounds of ground beef. We are going to use 1 pound of the ground sausage and 3 pounds of bison. Following all that? And so for these Supreme Pizza Muffins, I am eyeballing 1 pound-ish of sausage. That looks pretty good. We will use this up here in a few minutes. Now we're gonna put in, this is just a 5-ounce bag of the mini pepperonis, but it gives everybody pizza thoughts. Take out the little add-in. And then this is 2 packs of my already mixed up homemade Frugal bacon mix. It is 6 cups in each bag. I need 12 cups total. So we're gonna get that in there, and then I'm gonna add in 3 cups of water. And I'm out of pizza sauce. I thought for sure I did not need it. So we're gonna use spaghetti sauce. So here's all of our ingredients in the Mega Mama bowl, and I'm trying, you know, we try with a spoon here. I try to behave, but yeah, just gonna have to get this all mixed up, and then we are going to get it in the muffin liners and get all of this mix in the oven. We actually make so many dozen, several dozen of these Supreme Pizza Muffins that I end up using all of the silicone liners, plus we do like some drop biscuit versions of these, just because I was out of liners and it was a good way to just drop them on some parchment paper and still get them baked through.
I'm gonna my bag of mozzarella. And we get to mix everything together. Again, a handful per cup. And so now it's just the round and round of the can opener, but hey, the can openers are cooperating at this time, and we always appreciate that, can openers. And we are getting the Mega Mama bowls out and putting those to good use to make up this big batch of Supreme Pizza Muffins. And as I say, these are great dipped in marinara sauce. I can tell you from the future that many of my folks have been taking these from the freezer, defrosting them, just putting them in the refrigerator the day or so before, and then heating them up in the microwave or even eating them cold. And again, dipping them when they're heated up in marinara sauce, and they love them lots. So here's how the Supreme Pizza Muffins mix looks in the big bowl. Now we're gonna spray our muffin pans there and get these going in the oven. And you know, I've been using these silicone muffin liners for several years now, as long as I've lived in this house. That's how we know different kitchen utensils and tools, right? So for almost 4.5 years now, I do need to set them on a baking sheet whenever I put them in the oven. And then I will do things like spray them with some olive oil and such. May or may not really be needed there, but I still do it when I have it. And even whenever I've been out of my spray, you see I've just had to go back to getting great value nonstick spray now. My misto has come and gone, and then I had a good bit of just putting some olive oil on a napkin and wiping things down for nonstick help. And so I am just plopping in, totally eyeballing the Supreme Pizza muffin mix into each little muffin cup here. And I put the silicone liners on baking sheets. So usually, depending on if it's my larger baking sheet, I can fit 2 dozen muffins on, and if it's the smaller ones, I just get a dozen on there. The nice thing with my various oven racks is I can do several dozen at one time. Actually, if I had my 2 big baking sheets and 4 dozen total, that would be in my big oven, and then I could do 2 more dozen. I could do up to 6 dozen at a time. And so we just got to do whatever we can to make it work. So I will be sure to link this Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 18, where we cook up a lot of great lunches to help kick off summer around here and help a mama out, right? All of these things will be linked down in the description below if you're interested. Don't have anything in my ovens that's good except pizza muffins coming. Supreme pizza muffins, I should say. So we got about 5 dozen that are going in. And then we're going to take parchment paper and we'll do some Supreme Muffin drop biscuits here with the remaining. And there's some Mega Mama style Supreme Pizza drop biscuits. It's just waiting in line for the ovens to get done. So looking at our massive summer freezer meals list and knowing that my muffin silicone liners are in use right now, because we have the ham and macaroni muffin cups coming up. But next up, I think we're gonna jump and get the freezer chicken nuggets prepped and ready so that once we're done running the Supreme pizza muffins through the ovens, we can get those going through and then wash those liners and then do the ham and macaroni cups. That's how I think it's gonna fall together now. And so here's our directions for the freezer chicken nuggets. And here's how they can be prepped and ready to go in the bags. Alrighty, so we are gonna get everything together here now for the freezer chicken nuggets. I'm just gonna go ahead and put parchment paper on these 2 baking sheets. Let's see if I have enough in this one. I'm gonna get it, I think we do. And we're gonna take, I've already got the chicken all cut up here. And I need to crack some eggs, get those mixed up. Then we will dip the chicken in the eggs and flour, and we'll just use a mashed up cornflakes. A friend told me that her mom used to also mix in Rice Krispies. I'm gonna just totally do Rice Krispies and mash those up to make homemade chicken nuggets too. And I was thinking about it, you could probably use those, it's bacon panko. It's just like crumbled up pork rinds to make a keto friendly, low carb, healthy alternative nugget. But we're doing cornflakes today. And the recipe in my Big Batch Freezer Meals Guide 18 calls for 10 to 12 pounds of chicken. And I just realized I prepped and got ready 6 pounds of chicken. So still gonna be a decent amount of chicken for my folks here, but that's why I'm not using the full amount, full amount of eggs and such. But I do need to get my mix.
And so now we're just mixing in a precious little bowl. Isn't this cute? And so at this point, I got the cornflakes in the blender and we are letting the Vitamix do the work of crunching them all up.
Okay, so I just got our cornflakes a little smoother there. And so now we are just gonna go through the process of, oh, that's my timer going off. Well, let me go check my muffins real quick here.
And so yes, here's my assembly line, and I am just showing you how I'm taking the little chunked up chicken and we are dipping it in the flour and seasoning mixture and then rolling it in our mixed eggs and then rolling it through our cornflakes that we ran through the Vitamix. And I just continue to do that again and again and again until we get so many homemade chicken nuggets. And be sure to share the ways that you like to make homemade chicken nuggets in the comments below. I was chatting with a friend about how her mom used to do homemade chicken nuggets, and she would put the seasonings and many of the ingredients in a bag and then shake them all up together. And as I continued on with this, I was like, you know what? I should probably do that. But I did not want to. I just didn't want to mess anything up with what I was trying to show you and how I have things laid out. And so I did it individually. But I would love to hear your best tips on making bulk homemade chicken nuggets. And maybe we can give that a try in an upcoming video. And you might see the orchids down to the left of the screen. Those are from Mother's Day. They've been doing so well, and they're my kind of flowers because all you have to do, the little directions, is you give them 3 ice cubes once a week, and they are just loving life. They don't even look real. And so now we've been joking, well, maybe we should grow orchids. My plants on the property have been doing so well. If you haven't seen over on my Instagram, I have continued to share pictures of the different volunteers. And actually over here on YouTube, I do have a recent, I'm calling it an abandoned garden tour, but it's not really abandoned. I mean, we've put a lot of work into the garden spaces on this property. And so this is just not the year, just not the season where I am able to put hours and hours into gardening, but all of my perennials are coming back in full force. I have so many volunteers on this property. I mean, sunflowers I didn't even plant. Now I did plant hundreds of sunflowers, But I have sunflowers that were 5 feet tall before June 1st even got here, and those were from last year. So that is so fun to see. Also have a mega bunch of potatoes that hopefully will give us a decent potato harvest. I did have an animal though get into part of my potato patch, and so yeah, not sure what's going to happen with that in there. So we will continue to see. And it wasn't like a wild animal, it was a family member's goat. So goats will get into gardens. And so we have had some of those adventures. The hosta are all coming up in full force, and the nasturtiums are starting to pop out. So all the things to make my heart happy that I appreciate for sure. And then with these homemade chicken nuggets, I am just lining these baking sheets with them. You see we put parchment paper down first and a little spray of olive oil, and now I am just doing each individual nugget and getting it out on the sheets. And here we are going for another full blender load of cornflakes. But of course, once they are all ground up fine, we have less than a quarter of a blender of ground cornflakes to use. And I just do this batch after batch after batch, and we continue on. Chicken nugget assembly line. We are getting it done. These are a good bit of work. However, it'll be very nice and convenient for the kids to have them ready to go for summer. Also, they really love the fact when Mama makes them. Point, I am putting several of the homemade cut up nuggets through the flour, rolling a couple at the time in our egg mixture, and just continuing the assembly line process through here. here's how the nuggets are doing in the ovens. They're doing a good job in there. And those are some of ours that have already come out.
Alrighty, so while we're still waiting on the last of the nuggets, here's the Supreme Pizza Muffins, including the drop biscuit version that I did. These have been cooling. They are delicious when they're reheated, dipped in some marinara sauce. And then here's our continued stack, growing stack. I do have a teen that is working on the PB&J station, like the olden days, so we're getting those going for summer.
And now I'm just doing a little bit of countertop cleanup before we get into our next project. Things do build up around here when I get these big projects going, but taking a few minutes at least as we transition to cooking up our next big batch recipe. And now I'm just pulling the rest of the pans out of the oven for this chicken nugget goodness.
Alrighty, so here is how all of our homemade chicken nuggets have turned out. So I'm going to freeze these in different gallon Ziploc bags that are labeled, and then we will just heat them through as needed. But wasn't this a fun little cooking project? Alrighty, so we have some accomplishments here. The PB&J's done. Pizza muffins done. All the way down to the freezer nuggets done. So now we're going to do these ham and macaroni muffins. These are going to be our next focus. And I think I'm going to get the water going for the lasagna roll-ups. The meat's already cooked for that.
So I'm getting some bags out that I'm going to label to put the nuggets in, and we'll get those in bags and then get those down in the freezer. And some time has gone by for the nuggets to cool down appropriately also before I put them in the bags too. I know it's hard to tell in video time exactly the time that is a passing, but I am multitasking and doing several things and now working on bagging up these nuggets. Now for the freezer chicken nuggets, you can use 10 to 12 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast cut into nuggets. I ended up using about 6 pounds of chicken because that's what I had on hand. These chicken nuggets I cooked at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes until they reached the appropriate internal temperature. And these nuggets, just like so many of the freezer meals, you just take them from the freezer, fully frozen, put them in the refrigerator. They can defrost a day or two, and then you can run them through the microwave to heat them up, or even warm them up in the oven again. Your family folks can pick their favorite condiments to go with them, do some kind of vegetable. Hey, do watermelon in a summer salad, right? And there you go, dinner's done. So for the macaroni muffins, it was 2 packs of elbow macaroni, cooked and drained. Also 4 cups of milk, 4 eggs, 2 of those 16-ounce packs of already diced ham, 6 cups of shredded mozzarella, 6 cups of shredded sharp cheese, and of course you can use blended cheese, or like I do, any cheese you have on hand. I also preheated my oven to 350, and these I checked in about the 20-minute mark. They'll need to bake for about 20 to 30 minutes. Alrighty, so we're at least checking this off. They'll be out of the oven soon. And then after the macaroni and ham muffin cups come out of the oven and cool down, I get them in labeled gallon freezer bags as well. And that works out really well. Some people have asked me if I individually wrap muffins or these kind of muffin cup recipes, and I don't. I usually just slide a dozen or more, just depends on the size they turn out, into these gallon freezer bags, and then I stack them in my freezer. And then family folks, usually they pull out 2 bags going after. We did eat all of those muffins that I did in a breakfast freezer cooking video maybe 6 or 8 weeks back. Those have all come and gone, so I'm proud of us. We continue to roll through different things that I prep, and that is super helpful. And if we're not doing freezer meals, I big batch cook in advance. So currently, when I am talking to you on this voiceover, we are having a couple nights of homemade tacos that you will also see in an upcoming video. Not just tacos, but nachos and egg wraps and soft shells and taco salad, all the different taco festivities you can think of. Now, on this big batch freezer cooking day, I did not get to the other recipes that were listed.
Thanks so much for watching me do all of this
big batch, massive, mega freezer cooking today. These were some of my very best freezer cooking recipes from 2024, and we are rocking them into 2025. Be sure to click the first link in the description below. Head to shop.largefamilytable.com. You can say it with me. Use special coupon code HELLO20 to get 20% off your 2025 New Year, New You freezer cooking bundle, where you will get my big batch freezer meal guide for breakfast, my big batch freezer meal guide for lunches. Don't worry, there's a special bonus smallish batch edition where you don't have to make 40 lunches for your freezer. You could be sensible and make 10 to 15, and I'll hold your hand through the process. You also get my Mega Mama's Cooking Club Extravaganza Guide 1 to hold your hand and several of your friends to have in a freezer cooking afternoon, and you and some friends can fill your freezers together. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching all these massive meals going down, and I'll see you real soon with another brand new video. Bye bye.